So with ChatGPT in mind, are those long and agonizing nights of writing college essays finally over? Well, as you may have known, there's suddenly a new tool called ChatGPT, which is able to write human-like responses to all your prompts and questions, giving you answers in like essay formats, bullet point formats, and it could even go as far as writing code and translation. So in this video, I kind of want to briefly outline on what you should be aware of when you're using ChatGPT in order to stay out of trouble, and also to retain ethical standards and to use it efficiently. So first things first, I want to talk about ChatGPT's limitations. ChatGPT's developers themselves said that ChatGPT itself is limited to information up to 2021. You could definitely tell that there's going to be a little limit in terms of generating text regarding more modern prompts. Now this puts a risk in terms of accurate information that is written on your paper, so you shouldn't always rely on ChatGPT for always accurate information. There has also been evidence where ChatGPT gets a lot of information wrong, even if it's in the past, like, before 2021, that you also need to fact check as well. If you rely on ChatGPT practically in terms of your future, you could end up committing professional mistakes, and obviously that's going to be under your responsibility for using that AI tool. Another point I want to talk about is also plagiarism. Now, anybody who's using AI tools such as ChatGPT also has a chance of plagiarism. And there has actually been an article written that they may somewhat define the definition of plagiarism to also include AI generated content. That could actually be implemented in your soon to be academic policies. Going to the bread and butter of plagiarism, there is definitely a tool out there now that could detect AI generated content. You guys may know this, but the most infamous GPT detector is going to be GPT-0. It is created by a student and it actually helps detect whether that content is generated from AI or it's actual human writing. Now, the company OpenAI also announced themselves that they're also making an AI detector whether if a piece of text was written by AI or by human. So you can see the ongoing trend here that with the cause of ChatGPT, there's repercussions now of companies making GPT detectors and to see whether you actually wrote that text or an AI wrote that text. All the essays that you submitted with ChatGPT, they could be ran back in these tools. And if you're caught, then you may be in big trouble. Now, another thought that I want to bring in mind is also for your own sake, and that's going to be your critical thinking skills as well. Obviously, the purpose of an essay assignment is to challenge your critical thinking skills along with how fast and how accurate can you present information in a formal manner. If you're using AI constantly to generate essays after essays after essays, you're also limiting your knowledge that could be very, very useful in the real life world. You could, for example, compare two students. One uses OpenAI ChatGPT all the time and the other doesn't, and actually does their own work. Within the 4 years of college, maybe you can actually tell that this student that doesn't use AI generated content actually has better critical thinking skills, better researching skills. Now, why is this so important, right? Because if you ever need to apply anything to the professional world where you're not allowed to use ChatGPT or OpenAI, where it's something that you're required to write something real time, obviously you need that skill that you sacrifice for the sake of your own ease and using ChatGPT. Regardless, if you use it in moderation, it shouldn't be too big of a problem, but if you heavily depend on it, it's definitely going to limit your own capabilities and skills in the long-term run. Now, last but not least, the last thing I want to cover here is that school and academic systems are actually changing the way they grade stuff now, especially with the release of ChatGPT. Now, I'm not talking about like just plagiarism, but I'm talking about, the different approaches they're taking to education. Now, a couple things how this may happen is that schools could start enforcing students to write things that are more recent, that ChatGPT cannot cover, or more local stories and contents that have to be written in essay form that obviously ChatGPT does not have access to. And just like medical and technical courses, they may actually decrease the amount of written content and actually put more of projects and hands-on content. So now there's no way of getting around it with ChatGPT when things that you're doing is going to be in the classroom rather than a take-home essay. Students and teachers as well are also enforcing discussions now. So if your essay looks picture perfect because of ChatGPT, and when you bring it to the classroom, you don't have a discussion point, you don't have a good foundation of what you just wrote or what ChatGPT just wrote basically, then again, you may be in big trouble, right? Because now they're adding that as a part of the academic course and in your classes. So with that being said, while ChatGPT is actually redefining our future as we speak right now, we shouldn't rely on it too much and obviously try to focus on our skills in terms of old-fashioned practices such as critical thinking and writing on paper. It is encouraged to use the tool to maybe enhance the process of writing and thinking, but you shouldn't rely on it completely. Think of like a calculator, right? When the calculator was invented, it probably changed the world in terms of making calculations very easy. You're able to use a calculator on the exams and such, but obviously you still have to know the formula and the equations because they're not going to have everything there for you. You should kind of apply the same concept to ChatGPT, where you could use it as a tool, but you shouldn't use it 100% to create your content and just submit it. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if you did, don't forget to hit a like and hit the subscribe button down below, and I will see you all in the next video.